Julie got married at the grounds, the people, the building.
I did wonder whether
Go. Right. Oh, that's good. That's your camera, isn't it?
Firstly, I'd like to say that my wife, Emma, just to my left here, has proofread my speech, so if anything I say offends anybody, it's sort of her fault as well.
politically correct.
Now, when Andy asked me to be, when Andrew asked me to be his best man, I was a bit gobsmacked, to say the least. Had other people been asked? I wasn't sure. Was I the top of the list? But more importantly, Andy had found a woman. And she said yes. Where did you meet her? How many times have you seen her? Where does she live? How old is she? All of these thoughts race through the minds of the UK immigration. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Richard, and I was the best man Andy could find. Andy and I met when we were in the junior school of Pangbourne College. We were about 12 at the time, so I've known him for about 20 years. Also, and I feel I know him better than most people. Maybe. I can honestly say, though, I have never seen him happier than when he is with his Julie. I was speaking to Cynthia, his mum. Actually, I've just added this to my speech because I thought it was important. I was speaking to her yesterday, and she said, you've the pictures are different. And I said to her, what do you mean the pictures are different? She said, well, when he met Julie, the pictures looked as if they were taken by someone that cared about him. And when Andy used to come back from trips abroad, I don't know if you sat through India, but basically, here's a hill, and here's a tree, and it was just scenery. But when he came back from, it must have been Romania then, I guess. When he came back from Romania, Cynthia could tell that the photos of Andy had been taken by somebody that cared about Andy. And the interesting thing was also, she said, that it was one of the first times she'd actually seen him smile properly. So when you take a photo of somebody, they smile, don't they? But actually, we could see that he was actually smiling properly. There's an interesting story. Now, it may surprise you to learn that Andy, as a teenager, was into the hokey cokey. Now, luckily, he's managed to turn himself around, and that's what it's all about. All right, it gets better. Andy was born in 1966 on the 25th of April. And it may interest you all to know, and Julie more importantly, to know that in Germany, the #1 hit single was sung by Nancy Sinatra. And the song was spookily called "These Boots Were Made for Walking." Now, in the UK, #1 on the day Andy was born, it was the Spencer Davis Group, and their hit single was along a similar vein, being called "Somebody Help Me." Now, luckily, America comes to the rescue with the Righteous Brothers, and their #1 single, "You're My Soul and Heart's Inspiration." However, Australia also had Nancy Sinatra at #1. Andy unfortunately didn't really stand a chance. I'm sure you'll agree, on a completely different note, that the church at Beedon was a fabulous location for Andy and Julie's wedding.
Yes. Yeah.
At the end of the photographs, I did actually go in and thank the ladies for the flowers, which were fantastic. Unfortunately, you didn't see the full extent of the Harvest Festival because the vegetables, unfortunately, were banned. The vegetables were banned. I'm not sure whether Julie is allergic to vegetables or just whether she was afraid of tripping over a pumpkin, maybe. But you'll be pleased if you go back tomorrow evening about 6 o'clock-ish for the evening service, the vegetables will be on show. Now, me and Andy used to be regulars at the church, and I don't know, well, you won't know, but it was great to have the choir back in force today.
Oh, we were there, weren't we?
The choir were back in force today from Beedon about 30 years ago. It was just a shame that their cassocks didn't fit in. Moving our attention to the ushers. The ushers have done a fabulous job today. It seemed that everybody was in the right place at the right time and was moved along when they were sort of lagging behind. It was a shame that Julie didn't have her own usher, but you can't have everything. Also, a big well done to the bridesmaids. I understand that when Julie woke up this morning and realised that she was marrying Andy, she put up quite a struggle. So, big well done, girls. Anyway, back to Pangbourne. Andy and I were fresh-faced boys who'd never left their mums even for a single night. Sleepovers weren't invented back in the day. And Andy and I started off life in the junior school, but spent some of our time sleeping in the PE teacher's house.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I was trying to find some dirt on Andy and no friends would help, so this is what I came up with. Andy felt very poorly one night and knew he was going to be sick immediately. He obviously couldn't make it to the toilet. He looked around in the dark room. Other boys were asleep. He didn't know what to do. And then salvation came. A wicker basket in the corner of the room. And he didn't have much of an understanding about physics in those days. And needless to say, he had a lot of clearing up to do the next time. True story.
I don't know really.
Definitely a true story though. Anyway, Andy never got into trouble at school, except with a PE teacher. The nearest he got to trouble was when I was banned from visiting him. I was banned from Andy's house called Port Jackson. Now, Port Jackson was a brick building right next to the parade ground. It looked a bit like a prison, but Andy's room provided a lovely view over the parade ground. Now, on that particular morning, me and Andy were preparing for a maths A-level. So if you cast your minds back to 1984, anyway, we were listening to the radio preparing for our maths A-level, and a great song came on. And I was sat on Andy's windowsill overlooking the parade ground, and I decided to sing along with the track. Now, I've unfortunately got a bit of a loud voice as far as singing goes, and I don't really want to repeat the song, but the song's chorus was, Susanna, 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 I'm crazy loving you. And that was by the art company. But apparently I sang it so loud that everyone on the parade ground heard my rendition. Needless to say, after the parade, the housemaster of Port Jackson, Mr. Jim McBroom, whose name I remembered last night because I asked Andy, he banned me from visiting Port Jackson ever again. And Andy got a withering look. So that, I think, is Andy's worst discretion. That was me. Now, much of the time at college was spent playing sport. But Andy hadn't really grown yet. He was about 5'2" until he was 16. Alright, let's go 5'4". Surprisingly, Andy found his niche as a goalkeeper. Luckily, in hockey the goals are much smaller than football goals, and Andy almost looked big enough. When Andy got to 17, he had started to grow. This is the bit that Emma's read. Okay. And I must thank Andy's parents, thank you again, for taking me on holiday with them to France. We went to find, I think it was William Pocock, is that right? Howard Pocock. Harold. Right, we went to find Harold Pocock. What? Right, okay. And Harold was buried somewhere in France. But anyway, we went to find him. And on a particular day when we were visiting the beach, we were lucky to come across two topless girls. And my French was good enough to understand that they wanted a towel. So Andy and I looked at them with open mouths while we handed them our So I must thank Andy's mum and dad. And if you have time later, ask Victor here for his Jamaican story. No. So on that note, I can see Caroline wondering what on earth that story is. On that note, I will hand over to Geraldine.
I just want to say a few words about my darling friend Julie, on behalf of her family and friends. Settle down, Julie. I haven't got any dirt on Julie, but just to say that I've known Julie for almost 24 years through her first cousin Tony, who's married to my sister, and we've had many, many adventures together. We started out as friends, we became firm friends, and I think we can honestly say that we're firm sisters now, after our love has grown for many years. But I will say that on a serious note, Julie is a person of integrity and trust. She's a friend of love and loyalty and lots and lots and lots of laughter and quite a few stories. But she's a sister of mine whom I love deeply and forever, and today I want to wish her, Julie and Andy, many years of married happiness and lots of love for all of us.
I hope you've all still carried the stopwatch on. I'd like to thank you, obviously, all for coming today. It's so lovely when people meet up at joyous occasions like this. But I'm always amazed, really, at how far some people will come for a free meal and a couple of glasses of wine. So, Andy and Julie, you finally got married, for better or worse, which is quite appropriate, as Andy couldn't have done much better. And Julie... before I finish, however, I do have a short notice to read out from Andy. For sale, complete set of Encyclopedia Britannica, excellent condition, £500, or near offer, no longer needed.
$350.
I think you might take that. Just married, wife knows everything.